Without even seeing his face, you all know who this character was just by looking at the red M on his hat. Also, the title of this documentary sort of gives it away, but that's not the point. The point is, Mario has become one of the most well-known characters in the world. Ever since his debut in the 1981 game Donkey Kong and his own video game, Super Mario Bros., he's gone on to make countless games, toys, t-shirts, plushies, cartoon shows, and so much more. Heck, his new video game, Super Mario 3D Land, just came out for the Nintendo 3DS. Like all things that become popular, Hollywood wanted to make a movie based on Super Mario Bros., and to everyone's surprise, they did. This movie has a reputation for being the worst video game movie ever, but I wouldn't agree with that. I've seen a lot worse. But its rating on IMDb is a 3.8. On Rotten Tomatoes it has 13%, and countless of reviewers haven't said many good things about it. Even the cast didn't have anything nice to say. In 2007, Bob Hoskins, who played as Mario, was interviewed, and they asked him this. What is the worst job you've had? What has been your biggest disappointment? If you could edit your life, what would you change? To all three questions, he said Super Mario Bros. He even went on to say this. The worst thing I ever did? Super Mario Bros. It was a f***ing nightmare. The whole experience was a nightmare. It had a husband and wife team directing, whose arrogance had been mistaken for talent. After so many weeks, their own agent told them to get off the set. F***ing nightmare. F***ing idiots. Wow, is it really that bad? Well, let's find out by going back in time to learn the movie's history. Cue the cheesy transition. Do that again. Sometime in 1991, a producer named Roland Joffe decided he wanted to do a Mario Brothers movie. So his studio, Lightmotive Production, went to Nintendo about their ideas, which they actually liked, probably because they would get the merchandising rights from the film. Once the studio had the rights to the film, they quickly went on to try and sign high-level talent. They went to Danny DeVito to direct and play as Mario, then they went to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Michael Keaton to play as King Koopa. They obviously passed on it. Even Tom Hanks was briefly signed on to play as Mario, which is odd because he seems more like a Luigi than a Mario, but whatever. The executives thought he was asking for too much money, however, and they fired him, and they got Bob Hoskins instead, which I actually think is a good thing because he looks and acts like Mario. Hoskins was becoming more well-known, thanks to movies like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Hook, so the executives thought he would be more bankable. While Lightmotive was still looking for actors and a director, the first of many scripts was written. And I mean many. Seems like I'm out of tea. The first script was written by Barry Maru? However you say that. One of the Academy Award-winning writers of the movie, Rain Man. But his script was deemed too dramatic. So they gave the project to the writing team, Jim Genwin and Tom S. Parker, who worked on The Flintstones and Richie Rich. Because those were good movies, right? I actually read some of the script and thought it was pretty good. It wasn't perfect, but it was going in the right direction. Now that's pretty good. What's not good is that once the film got its director, or directors, Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, the script would be rewritten again by yet another group of writers, and this script would be nothing like the last. It's basically like they took the good script and drop-kicked it. Not literally. One script was like a sci-fi fantasy film. Another was inspired by Die Hard, then by Ghostbusters, so lastly it was like Mad Max. How the hell did I end up on the roof anyway? This Mad Max-inspired script was more sophisticated and adult-oriented. It was kind of similar to what the film is like today, but this script had death races in the desert, sarcastic British political satire, and some adult behavior, if you know what I mean. It was this script that brought actors Bob Hoskins, Dennis Hopper, and Fiona Shaw onto the project. But to their surprise and annoyance, they were given a completely new script by yet another team of writers once they arrived on the set to begin filming. This script took out the political satire and social depth in favor of something lighter and more practical. I'm guessing the directors drop-kicked that last script as well. Now where the hell am I? Anyway, why don't we talk about those directors that Bob Hoskin loves so much? The two directors, Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, were a husband and wife team who didn't have many movie credits to their name. They had only directed one other film before this one, called DOA, which was a commercial and critical bomb. So for a while, they just stuck to directing commercials for Coca-Cola and Hardee's restaurants, till they found small success from creating the show, Max Headroom, which I haven't really seen a whole lot of, but from what I saw, it's really weird. The studio loved Max Headroom's zany vibe and thought Morton and Jankel had the right imagination for a Super Mario Bros. Movie. I'd make some kind of drug joke about that, but I couldn't come up with anything. When they were hired, their vision for the film was much darker and different from the Nintendo games. It took place in an alternate reality of New York, where the dinosaurs were banished after a meteor hit Earth 65 million years ago. And as time went on, the dinosaurs would evolve into humans and grow to hate the mammals, who lived in the other reality, because their world was much nicer. And a portal connects our world with theirs and... Whoa, okay, stop. I think we're getting a little carried away with this story here. I mean, this is supposed to be about the Mario Brothers, and somehow they came up with this? I guess they were taking drugs. With the darker vision the directors wanted, the concept art for the city had a cyberpunk look to it, similar to Blade Runner. Because of this, the studio hired the production designer of that movie, David L. Snyder. Most of the movie was filmed in the Ideal Cement Factory, where other movies like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Crow were filmed. Snyder and his crew spent a lot of time and money to turn this abandoned factory into the cyberpunk city known as Dino-Hatton. I have to admit, even though this looks nothing like the games, it's really cool. Alright, no more changing locations. It's starting to get annoying. Anyway, at this point in production, the film had its actors, directors, sets, and a script. Or at least it had a script. The studio was expecting a light-hearted kids film, and thought the director's vision was too dark. Even most of the cast and crew had signed on with similar expectations. Lightmotive brought in the writer of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure to write another version of the script, which complicated things for the directors, seeing as how the sets and prosthetics were already made. See, I told you there was many versions of the script. But even as filming went on, rewrites of the script would keep coming in, so much so that the cast just didn't care anymore. They would get the new script and not even bother to read it. During filming, the cast and crew began to dislike Morton and Jankel. They were micromanaging everything. There was even a moment when Morton dumped hot coffee on an extra because he thought he wasn't dirty enough. Everyone was getting burnt out from this film, especially the guy who had coffee dumped on him. Literally. The film was now going over budget, it was behind schedule, it had two directors that everyone seemed to hate, and the cast and crew were either drunk, working off script, or completely uninterested. Eventually, the director's own agent told them to get off the set. That's when Dean Semler, the cinematographer, took over as director, and things ran much smoother. But the film was such a mess already that there was no way of fixing it. The movie finally came out to theaters and people were excited to see it. But Lightmotive Production soon found out that this wasn't going to be a hit. During its time in the theaters, it only grossed $21 million, and it cost $48 million just to make it. They didn't even make half their money back. The film probably didn't stand a chance because its competition was Jurassic Park. Its dinosaurs just blew away Mario's. It was a sad day for the Super Mario Brothers. The but it was even worse for the people who made the movie. So why did this movie bomb? Was it because it was nothing like the games? Was it because it was too dark? Was it because Koopa was a human and not a huge lizard? Or was it because Luigi didn't have a mustache? I bet it's that. Luigi not having a mustache just totally ruined the film. But seriously, I think there's a number of reasons why. It didn't have that great of a story, it didn't look or feel like the video games, it wasn't clear to the audience whether it was aimed towards adults or kids, and it had to go up against Jurassic Park. That's a big enough reason right there.
Now with all that's been said, I'm sure you're wondering what I think of the movie. Well, to be honest with you, I actually like it. And so do a bunch of other people, because there's actually a small cult following for this film. And apparently I got the wrong show playing in the background. Now I'm sure you're asking, why would anyone like this movie? Well, I think it's because the city looks awesome, Bob Hoskins was great as Mario, and there's just something cool about it, in its own way. I mean, that's why people watch The Wizard, right?
Because of how big a bomb this movie was, Nintendo hasn't allowed Hollywood to make any of their other game series in the movies, which is a shame because I would really like to see Legend of Zelda or Metroid. But we may never see those movies until Hollywood can prove to us that they can make video games in the movies. And judging from their track record, let's just say they're not quite there yet.
Well, I guess this is the only movie we'll get from Nintendo. Which isn't a bad thing, because I like it. But if you haven't seen it yet, you should get it. I mean, it's only $5 at Target.
And you never know, Super Mario Bros. The movie might not actually be the worst video game movie ever. In fact, it's probably one of the very few good ones.
Hello, are you a native speaker of a language other than English? Do you speak English fluently, yet with a foreign accent? Does your accent ever cause miscommunication or misperception by other people? If so, perhaps you would like to modify or change your accent. Do you ever feel like your tongue is too long, or too short, or too stiff, or too slow, or just doesn't move the way you want it to when you speak English? Do you ever feel that your ears are too small or too dull to hear the difference between leave and live, between mop and map, or between fuzz and fuss? Do you need help perceiving the difference between "it's a nice day, isn't it?" and "it's a nice day, isn't it?" Do you have a tendency to pronounce all of the syllables in English with the same length? If so, you could clearly benefit from learning to perceive and pronounce English with American stress, rhythm, and intonation. Well, lucky for you, the pronunciation doctor is in. I'm here to give you a prescription for speaking more clearly. I'm going to give you expert guidance and extensive practice in refining your oral production and listening skills. I'll put you on a regimen. Let's start with the ears. Let's make them a little bit bigger. I'm going to help you train your ears to hear the sounds, the phonemes, the consonants and vowels of English. These are the segmental features of English. And we'll do some exercises to notice, to perceive the elusive and invisible suprasegmental features, prosody, stress, intonation, and rhythm, the music of English. We'll take a close look at how to adjust the mouth to modify the sound, the accent that you produce. We'll examine the effects of how you move the jaw, the cheeks, the lips, the nose, the teeth, the tongue, and the glottis. We're going to check your breathing. Yes, you'll learn how to use your breath to produce an American English accent. You'll perceive differences in accents such as these. I'm pushing my paper, and I'm pushing my paper. I'm going to train your vocal apparatus to produce the English sound system with greater control. I'll give you a recipe for improving the stress, rhythm, and intonation patterns in English. You'll increase your ability to perceive and produce the melody, the tune, the music of English. When you improve your oral skills, you'll gain more confidence when you speak. People will understand you more easily. You'll be able to improve your opportunities in education, in business, in your social life, and in your professional life. How will I modify my accent in a distance education environment, you ask? Pronunciation Doctor has the answer. You will use excellent materials for asynchronous learning, online software, videos, audio, text, recording on the web, all designed specifically for enhancing your listening discrimination, pronunciation, and accent. Also, I will hold seminars on the web. We'll use our webcams and microphones to hear and see each other and our learning objects in real time for synchronous learning. To register for my accent modification class, please visit my website for more details.
Don't go in there, Josh. If your stepmom catches you, she's gonna kill you.
Look, I'm having my 18th birthday party, and I just want to get some refreshments.
You don't need those kind of refreshments. Besides, your birthday was last month. You're just looking for an excuse to party.
Yeah, it's my first weekend in my new home. You know, I really like that with Joe and Mike.
I don't know about Joe. There's something about that guy. But Mike's okay, I like him.
Yeah, Mike's a good guy.
Don't try changing the subject, okay? You don't need beer at this party. Besides, Joe's 19 and he looks 21. If he wants beer at this party, let him buy the beer.
You know, you're so cute when you look concerned for me. It'll be just a second.
What are you doing?
Hey, Diane. I'm just borrowing some beer. I'll pay Dad back next week.
No. You are not old enough to drink.
It's just 1 6-pack. I'm celebrating the fact that I'm finally out of this house. I know that's what you wanted. Bye.
No. Let's get one thing straight. You have just broken into my house, and that is my beer in your hands. Your father will be furious when he finds out about this. Put the beer back. Now.
No! You're not my mom, so stop telling me what to do. Go ahead. Tell Dad. See what happens.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
She was in there, wasn't she? I told you this was a bad idea. Why did you even go in there? You don't even like beer.
Let's just not talk about it, okay? I'm not gonna let this ruin my night. Besides, I told him I'd bring him some beer from my dad.
Your dad would never let you have beer.
Yeah, I know that. But they don't. Are you really mad at me? Don't be mad. Okay, you know what? I know exactly what'll make you feel a lot better.
What? You're horrible.
Happy birthday! Megan. Megan, good turn. You're gonna get me. Megan, Megan!
No! Oh my god! Look at what you did! What are we gonna do?
Just get back in.
Josh, you get that beer?
Of course. Did I ever let you guys down?
I don't know. I don't know you that well. You might.
Jay, right in. What do you see right there?
Happy
birthday,
man.
Thank you.
Perfect. I might be able to save this party yet. Check it out. Not yet. We gotta eat first. We gotta have something in our stomach before we enjoy this.
Oh, good call, man.
I got a craving for chips. What do you think?
How about a pizza, dude?
Move right to the main course? I don't know. I'm thinking we get a big bowl, fill it with tortilla chips, smother those puppies in delicious nacho cheese. I'll fry us up some meat, add a little spices.
Jalapenos.
We need to get started.
Chips are in the kitchen,
In the kitchen?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's in the cupboard next to the fridge. The cupboard next to the fridge. The one next to the fridge. Yeah, oh, who is that?
dude? I don't know, but... Oh, gosh! I just remembered. There's something in the backyard, and I just have to go look at it right now. So, you answer the door. You get it, okay.
Who is it? Please open the door.
You got a complaint about the noise. You need to go turn it down.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if we come in and take a look around?
Yeah, I guess.
Who else is here with you?
Just my roommate and his girlfriend.
Where are they?
They're upstairs.
Can you go grab them for me?
Is this your alcohol?
No, sir.
Okay, stand right there for me.
You guys get your clothes on and get downstairs.
Yeah, all of you sit down. Whose apartment is this?
3 of us live here, but 2 of us signed for it. Where's Joe?
Joe who?
Never mind.
How old are you?
17.
And what's your name?
Megan.
How about you? How old are you?
17.
And your name?
Mike.
And you, how old are you, man?
18.
And your name?
Josh.
Well, Josh, you were just caught having sex with a minor. Not only that, looks like you were contributing to the delinquency of a minor by providing alcohol.
Is this yours?
No. I don't do meth. I don't do any kind of heavy drugs.
Well, how about this marijuana? Is it yours?
Dude, shut up. We want a lawyer.
Let me see some ID from all of you.
You 3 are in serious trouble.
Officer, we're just having a little party for my 18th birthday.
This may be an innocent little party to you, but your neighbors called in. They're complaining about the loud music coming from inside the apartment.
It wasn't even that loud.
Disturbing the peace is the least of your worries right now. We found meth, marijuana, and alcohol in the apartment. And unfortunately for you, Josh, you're the only adult here.
Well, Josh, your stepmom called in, and she made a complaint that you showed up at the house, you broke in, you stole some beer from her, you threatened her, and then you ran over the neighbor's mailbox when you were leaving.
No, I didn't threaten her. Plus, it's my dad's house, not even hers.
Well, we're going to have to take you all in. Mike, Megan, you 2 are going to go to juvenile hall. From there, we're going to call your parents. And Josh, you're going to be going to jail. Serving alcohol, marijuana, and methamphetamine to minors is a very serious offense. Why don't you stand up? Mike, stand up. Put your hands behind your back for me. Stand by my partner right over there. Megan, stand up. Put your hands behind your back. Is this your purse? Okay, follow my partner.
appointed by the court to be your attorney here regarding this matter. So I want to go over all the case with you, what the charges are. Tell me a little bit about what happened last night. Sounds like you had quite a night.
Where do you want me to start?
Well, I understand you went to your dad's house.
I went to my dad's house, and I went there to get some beer, because I was having a party for my 18th birthday. I went in there, and my stepmother came in and wouldn't let me get it, and basically we got in a big argument, and I grabbed the beer and I left.
Okay, before we go any further, when you went into the house, that's your dad's house, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't live there anymore, so when you went into another person's house with the intent to go in and steal something or take something out of the refrigerator without permission, that's a felony burglary in the first degree. That's a strike. Then, I understand that they're charging you with a charge for threatening your stepmother because you said something to her that she perceived to be a threat against her. When you left the mailboxes, you ran into the mailboxes, you've been charged with a reckless driving, you've been charged with vandalism, a felony vandalism for the mailboxes and the damage to them, but you've also been charged with a hit and run for failing to report the accident. When you hit those mailboxes, you're required to stop, give your name, your contact information, and your insurance, or leave a note on those mailboxes so that someone knew how to get a hold of you. You mentioned that your friends had some marijuana on them. Did you smoke any of it yourself?
I took one hit.
Right, because you're being charged with a marijuana charge. At any time, did you hand the weed to your girlfriend?
Yeah.
That action of handing her the joint is contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and it's furnishing a controlled substance to a minor, which is a felony. And you're being charged with unlawful sex with a minor, because I understand she's 17 and you're 18. Is that right?
Yeah, but I mean, I just turned 18,
okay.
And she's turning 17 in a month.
People may not know this in school, but the fact is that if two minors having sex is still illegal. It is a misdemeanor for two minors to have sex. It's unlawful sexual intercourse between minors. But in addition, now you're an adult, so you have extra consequences. So that's an initial charge. Now, my job is to explain to you what your maximum exposure is. The maximum time, if you're found guilty of all of these charges, the maximum time you could get is 8 years and 10 months in state prison. The victims in this case do not want this young man to have to go to prison. They do not feel it's necessary for his rehabilitation to have to spend a lengthy time in jail or in prison. So we feel like that's mitigation to keep him here local.
I'm going to follow the recommendation of the district attorney's office and the comments your attorney made, and I'm going to give you a break on this case. But I want you to understand something. I'm going to sentence you to state prison for 6 years. That's 6 years state prison. You understand that, sir? But I'm going to suspend the execution of that sentence. That means I'm going to put you in 5 years formal felony probation. You understand that? All right, we're going to talk about the terms and conditions of probation that you're going to have here now. You're going to be ordered to report to the probation office as directed on the 1st and 15th of each month within 14 days of being released from custody. You're not to leave the county without the written permission of your probation officer. You're to notify them within 24 hours of any change of address.
Yes, sir.
You're not to use or possess any alcohol, anything like that. You can't have any controlled substances, restricted or prescribed drugs unless you have a valid prescription. Your driver's license, among other things, is going to be suspended for 1 year. Now, you're going to have a search clause. You're going to have a search clause for controlled substance and drug paraphernalia. What that means, at any time, a law enforcement officer, peace officer, probation officer, without probable cause or reasonable condition, can search your residence, your vehicle, your person, anytime they want to. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The other thing, you're not supposed to have any contact with Megan. You're not to have anything to do with Megan. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have to change your lifestyle. You're going to have to quit hanging around with some of the people that you hang around with. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Because all they're going to do is get you back in trouble. And you come back in front of me, you know what's going to happen for violation of probation? You tell me what's going to happen to you.
Go to jail for 6 years.
No. You go to state prison for 6 years. You're going to find out about jail because you're going to go to jail for 365 days. You understand that?
It'll be just a second.
They won't let me out, and I had a long day in court. It stressed me out. Won't give me a bail, it can't get me out. Now I'm headed to the county. Gotta do a bid here. I'm used to living luxurious. I don't wanna live here. The walls is gray, the clothes is orange. The phones is broke, the food is garbage. A lot of niggas is living with these circumstances. SP's the same, I still murk your manses. Drug money, the rap money, work advances. Ran and told I should've murked the Kansas. Got popped for a murder attempt. Knocked me on D block when I was burning the hemp. Had a brick in the stash, hope they don't take it to a further extent. Locked up and they won't let me out. When I hit my cell block, know the threat be out.
I'm steady trying to find the motive. Why do what I do? And freedom ain't getting no closer. No matter how far I go, my car is stolen. No registration. Cops patrolling. And now they done stop me and I get locked up. They won't let me out. They won't let me out. Locked up. They won't let me out. No. They won't let me out. Locked up. They won't let me out. They won't let me out. Locked up. They won't let me out. No. They won't let me out. Heading uptown to
What is all this junk?
That's my girlfriend Gina. Returning a Frampton album. Back to me. Let's start at the beginning. Side 1, track 1. We had been dating for nearly 2 months. We got along so well. We seemed like soulmates. Everything was just perfect.
You know, if you went with a lighter color, it would really open up this room.
I've got my own unique style here.
I thought I was your style.
You are. Hey, I want to show you something.
Go ahead, rock my world.
Surprise!
Holy Mother of God!
I'd like you to meet 7,852 of my dearest friends.
What is all this junk?
This is my vinyl collection.
I cannot even deal with this. All the junk needs to go.
Are you serious? Those albums are classics.
Hey, I'm a music fan too, except it's music like from this century.
It's overwhelming. I need to get things more organized.
No, you need to get them gone.
It's rock and roll history, Gina.
You're worse than my mother.
This one is from Yellowstone, and this one is from Graceland.
I have Elvis too.
This is not a harmless hobby. You need a clutter intervention.
I can move it all into storage.
Right. So we can have this discussion again 2 years from now. I don't think so. Don't look at me like that. Eugene, it's okay. I'm here now, but the crap has to go.
I don't know if I can do that.
Well, I know my market value, baby. No junk allowed. You decide.
So, I've got this great girl, but I've got this kick-ass record collection.
Hold on. Is she fine?
Meet the Beatles.
Well, a woman's heart is a deep ocean of secrets.
The Bible.
Oh, no. Tagline from Titanic.
Gino, my man, you're on the edge.
Frampton?
Frampton by Peter Frampton. Oh!
Corinthians 13 does say, when I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things.
You darn boys, get off my lawn. Man, unless you change, that's going to be you.
Jimi fucking Hendrix. Excuse me!
How about you hook your buddy up with some of that Marvin Gaye?
If you should happen to have any Simon and Garfunkel,
You can keep your stupid music.
Yes!
New invention. iPod. Tomorrow we're getting rid of your collection.
Took my hand and held me safely in your arms, and all the while I hid my struggles of my other lifetime storms, but the time was overdue. No other choice but leaving you. And in the midst of the night, we said our last goodbye. In the midst of the night, we said our last goodbye.
Great start. I called Goodwill and they're gonna do a pickup. So just go inside and grab some more albums and I'll stay out here and supervise. Oh, and go ahead and throw this Frampton album and maybe this shirt in there while you're at it.
This is everything right here.
You can't be done already.
Exactly. I am done, Gina. We're done.
My stuff?
Gina, can you name a single album I said was a big deal for me?
What?
This whole thing is about listening and sharing.
Vinyl boy.
Let's end it now, or we'll only have this discussion again 2 years from now.
Hi. Somebody scheduled a pickup?
All right. False alarm.
That just means I finished early today.
Sorry for the trouble.
By the way, I really like your t-shirt.
Yeah? I should get rid of it.
No, keep it. I love retro stuff.
You don't say.
I used to be face-to-face with my students about 3 years ago, and I've realized in an effort to be fully engaging but yet online and in a hybrid class, I had to figure out a new way to communicate with my students because I knew for sure they were not going to just read all my instructions and go for it. Or if I did present my class that way, it was going to be pretty darn boring, and I couldn't have an expectation that they'd be excited about my material. My favorite new tools to use with my students, whether it be hybrid or online, are the Google Docs spreadsheets, the Google Forms, WordPress blogs, and then the screen capture to be used with Prezi or just to capture something in the class that I'm teaching with technology. Anytime I have an assignment that's a little bit tricky or difficult to explain or has any technology involved, the first thing I ask myself is how can I make that a video? The value of screen capturing anything you see on the computer is unbelievable. I can't think of a better way to capture learning in a very contained, archivable method. And I find that it's so useful that I'm doing it more and more often, and you'll find behind each one of these tabs I have a screen capture that's been converted to a YouTube, and you can just click and play. And that is exactly what my students are able to do. The beauty of it, on top of the convenience, is that students can play and control the video. They can go back and rewind, they can fast forward if they're in a hurry. And this gives me a chance to give them extra details because I'm narrating at the same time. The other value of a screen capture is that you can add music to change the mood or change the effect to keep it moving and give it some pace. And here's a brief illustration of how those videos are inserted into the class. You can see that I have one just about every week, so they get very accustomed to the step-by-step instruction. And here's how it feels for students when they encounter a video. They're just going to play.
The final week then is...
And let's say they didn't catch part of it, so they're just going to replay it.
Week 5 is your day of eating.
Using the free Jing is very convenient. One that you would have hand graded in some way and turn on the Jing program, wait for the little countdown. This is a wonderful chance to have a conversation with students on things that you wouldn't possibly take the time to write out. And if you find that the screen capture idea is of interest to you, there is a free version called Jing made by TechSmith. Here's the website right here, techsmith.com. Check out the techieteach.com website I've developed here. It's under construction, but you'll see tabs of different teaching tools I use, explanation for how and why I'm using it. Maybe you'll find something of interest to you.